In my mind, you can split up the games following the original Smash into 2 groups. Where would you put Rivals? Over here. Yeah, it's over here. You thought I was gonna do something like, oh, it goes in the middle, but no, I am planting my feet. I am standing my ground. Rivals shares way more qualities with both Melee and PM. I'm gonna refer to PM, P+, whatever it is, as PM, just FYI, but I like them. But anyway, Rivals is closer to Melee and PM over Smash 4 and Brawl. It is to be noted that Ultimate came out after Rivals, so a lot of those similarities are just like coincidental. And also, let's be real here, okay? Let's be real for like 10 minutes, all right? However long this video is. Rivals has these sensibilities and these ideas that are way more in common with this side of the Smash that does not share with Ultimate, Smash 4, and Brawl, which their philosophy is to make things slower, simpler, and more casual. Now, I know this shouldn't be a controversial opinion, but I'm sure I've just made a bunch of enemies by saying the things I did, but that's not what this video is about, all right? We're not talking about why there's a divide in the Smash games. We're here to talk about the difference between Smash and Rivals, and how these differences are a result of the fact that Rivals is a sequel to these side of the Smash games. Rivals does not have L canceling, it does not have shields, it doesn't have grabs, kinda, for the most part. On a functional level, it does not have grabs in the same way that they operate in Smash. And Rivals doesn't have ledges. Now, there are a lot of little differences that I'm sure you could have an entire video going over all the little things that are different, hit falling, yada yada, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're really here to talk about the design of Rivals and how that differs from the design of Smash. It's lacking in a lot of these major things, but what does Rivals keep, and why does it deserve to stay on this side and not get kicked over to the uncool, stupid side full of losers? I'm just kidding, like your game, that's fine. Rivals keeps freedom of movement. At least it keeps the freedom of movement that I think is basically, if you had to go into why there's this big divide, I think the major difference, the biggest thing, is the movement and the fact that one side is far more restricted than the other. And you know, to take that even further, this freedom of movement, like extrapolated out, I think is one of the major reasons there's a huge difference in the combo game and why the combo game is a lot more similar on one side and a lot cooler than the other side. So Rivals keeps the freedom of movement, but it does remove a lot of these major features. But what it does to make up for it is what I'm gonna call streamlining. Both PM and Rivals streamline previous mechanics from Melee in that it makes them easier. PM has L canceling buffer through hit pause to make it a lot easier, and it also does like this little 1-frame change to make wave dashing and short hopping a whole lot easier. And Rivals has an input buffer, but actually Rivals even goes farther to make it even easier to do. While there are numerous mechanics from Melee that Rivals makes easier, the two that I think demonstrate the idea of streamlining the best are L canceling and wave dashing. There is never a reason to not L cancel in Melee, but the benefit of this mechanic is that it obviously makes the game much faster and way more aggressive, and it can create opportunities for punishment since the timing of an L cancel can, in a sense, be influenced by your opponent. This, added with the fact that the timing is already really hard, it makes it really difficult for players to get into a game with L canceling, and has even caused, you know, some contention in the PM community as to whether or not it should be included. Rival's solution to this is instead to have a system called whiff lag, or hit canceling if you ask Dan, but that's a story for another time. Aerials are still very fast, but when they're whiffed, have a little bit more end lag, and it depends on the move. This end lag is not as bad as missing an L cancel, so the game's still fast, but it provides like a moment that can be punished. The point of whiff lag is to keep the idea that L canceling plays in a platform fighter, but it removes that technical limitation that it sets on the players. So with wave dashing in Smash, a character's jump squat will change the timing to execute a wave dash, so it makes it real weird to get used to when you're flipping between characters. While in Rivals, you can just wave dash straight from the jump squat. The timing is actually the same for everyone, and it's obviously significantly easier. So if you look at these two mechanics, you can see basically the philosophy of Rivals when it comes to streamlining mechanics from Melee. It's either keep a mechanic and make it easier, or if that's not possible, change the mechanic, but keep the spirit of what that mechanic accomplished. While Brawl outright removed most of these mechanics. I'm not trying to just shit talk the other Smash games. This is actually me going into objective differences between these games. So as I said before, Rivals is a sequel in my eyes. But first, let's just go into what do I mean by sequel? Because you could say, well, Brawl, Smash 4 Ultimate are obviously all sequels to Smash, but in the terms of this video, I don't think they are sequels. I look at them more as like a sidequel or a spin-off, just a different game in the franchise, because basically, this divide is not only just in terms of, oh, what's different, oh, what do I like? There's just a divide in terms of design with these Smash games. Now, some people might argue like, oh, but you just said Rivals removed a bunch of these core things. So shouldn't it, be somewhere else? The thing is, it's not just the fact that these things were removed. Like I said, it's the intent of the removal. Brawl saw the things that happened in Melee, and the team behind it purposely seeked out to remove those features so that they could not be done. While Rivals removed many of its features due to limitations, as opposed to, oh, we don't like it. For example, grabs and shields. Rivals didn't have either. But the main thing was, at the time, again, Rivals, indie game, Dan didn't want to animate and didn't have time to animate like everybody's different grabs. So with no grabs, you can't have shields either. So this isn't like a change to remove depth. This is a change because you have to figure something out. It's a problem-solving change. It's a compromise. It's a way to try to still capture what made Melee PM special, but just do it in a way that is practical with the tools you have at the time. But there's more to it than that. Rivals doesn't just simply remove stuff because of limitations or because Dan didn't like ledges. Rivals actually adds something to Melee, which, that's part of what makes a sequel a sequel. It's not just changing stuff, it's adding to stuff. The way I like to describe the difference between Rivals and Melee PM is complexity versus intricacy. I'm not trying to sound smart. This is just the way I'm trying to orient the main differences, because both games are super technical, but they're technical in different ways. Rivals is more complex than Melee PM, while Melee and PM are more intricate. Does that make sense? A great example of this is ledge options versus Rivals wall recovery. Both of them accomplish more or less the same goal of edge guarding and creating this interaction of offstage, trying to get back to onstage post-punish game. They both accomplish the same goal, but they go about it in very different ways. Melee PM, you grab the ledge and you have all these different little intricate options based off of what your character can do from the ledge. While Rivals, it's big sweeping movements. Each character has different tools to get back onto stage, and all these different things you have to consider. And this, I think, applies to basically most of the mechanics in both of these games. Like Melee PM have shield tilting, shield dropping, L canceling, clanking. The list goes on. Obviously, there's a bunch of different things. Rivals obviously simplifies most of this, but it adds on something to make up for it. Rivals adds a bunch of states you can apply to each character or you have on yourself, and again, resources, different ways to control stage, different things that will move you around the stage, and different ways you just straight up get kills. Again, they're both equal in terms of depth. It's just that Rivals is complex while Melee PM is intricate. Smash does have some of these things, but it's not intrinsic to the design of Smash. Every single Rivals character has to have these complex mechanics. Well, not every Smash character has to have these, but every Smash character does have these intricate mechanics. You can see the complexity direction in PM. Some of the characters have these things, even in Melee, but especially more with PM, you see this direction that it's kind of headed in. But I don't think PM's quite there. I think the core design, the main purpose behind PM, was to make every character as intricate as they were in Melee. The goal of Rivals was to simplify every character, but make them all more complicated. And that's the main difference. There it is, the difference between Smash and Rivals. You can unsub and dislike and leave now. So this, to me, is one of the biggest reasons Rivals is a sequel to Melee PM, while Brawl, Smash 4, Ultimate are not really sequels. They're just different games. Rivals sought to fill the gap of what it removed and what it changed, to try to maintain the depth, the type of depth, to not be as incontroversial to say it, the type of depth that was offered in Melee and PM. While Rivals has some major mechanical differences, in terms of design, it seeks to streamline what came before, right? It seeks to make things easier or better, more inclusive than what came before, but then add a complexity to that experience in order to achieve this depth. All these little things that are different with Rivals and Smash, those will change in the future. In the future of Rivals, that could be a whole different situation, but what I think will maintain is that design sense of complexity. So yeah, so when someone asks you what the hell's the difference between Smash and Rivals, I'm just trying to offer you a different way of going about it and saying, oh, well, in this one you don't have shields and you can hit fall and you can do a lot of yada zeta burn furry. You could say Rivals is basically the same thing as Smash, except more complex and less intricate. And then they'll be like, I don't know what that means. So yeah, that's how I see the differences between Smash and Rivals. I didn't feel like going into all the different little mechanical things because at the end of the day, it's not as important as to the idea behind Rivals. And that's why I like it. One of the main reasons a lot of people from Melee and stuff, they're not into Rivals because it's not as intricate. And the intricacy might be why they like the game. But I think for a lot of people, they might not like how intricate these games are because it's too hard. If you're like me, you don't like the simplicity, the restriction of movement of the other Smash games. And so that's why, play Rivals. And I think the more people understand that, the more people who would like Rivals will find Rivals. Was I helpful? Comment, it's like, hey, this really helped me understand. Or, hey, this made me more confused. You suck, Adam. I hate you. Thank you all for tuning in. If you did like this video, hit that button because it helps me. That's why. Don't do it because I told you to. Do it because you want to help me. If you don't want to help me, then don't hit it. And hey, subscribe because most of you aren't subscribed. And look at my statistics again. It's like 70% of you didn't hit the sub button. Just saying. If you want to see more of my videos, hit that button. You'll see more. Oh, kill me. All right, see you on the flip-flop.